I wanted revenge on my cheating husband. Now I'm pregnant and I don't know whose baby it is. I'm staring at the positive pregnancy test in my hand and all I can think is I've destroyed everything for nothing. 3 months ago I found out Marcus was cheating, not suspected, knew. I saw the messages on his laptop while he was in the shower, strings of texts to someone named Bri with heart emojis and plans to meet up when she's out of town again. That someone was me. I was the obstacle in my own marriage. We'd been together 8 years, married for 5. We weren't perfect but we were solid. Or I thought we were. He worked late, I worked early. We had date nights every other week. We talked about starting a family next year, after I got my promotion. Normal life, boring life. The kind of life where you think infidelity happens to other people. I didn't confront him right away. I know that sounds insane but I couldn't. My hands were shaking so badly I had to sit on the bathroom floor. I felt like someone had scooped out my insides and filled the space with broken glass. When he came out of the shower smiling, asking what I wanted for dinner, I just said passed and went back to scrolling my phone like I hadn't just watched my entire world collapse. For 2 weeks I pretended everything was fine. I smiled. I kissed him goodbye. I died a little more each day. My best friend Jenna kept asking what was wrong. I finally told her over wine one night, and instead of telling me to get a lawyer or go to therapy, she said something that lodged itself in my brain like a splinter. You know what would make you feel better? Leveling the playing field. She told me about her cousin who'd done the same thing after her husband cheated. Slept with someone else. Got it out of her system. Felt powerful again instead of pathetic. Jenna made it sound like self-care, like reclaiming something that had been stolen from me. She even showed me her cousin's Instagram, all these pictures of her looking happy and confident with a new guy. I told myself I'd never do that. I wasn't that person. But it sat in the back of my mind during every fake conversation with Marcus. Every time he touched me and I wondered if he'd touch her the same way that day. I started noticing other men. Really noticing them. The guy at the coffee shop who always smiled too long. The trainer at my gym who'd asked me out 2 years ago, before I got married. His name was Dylan. 6'3", tattoos on his forearms, the kind of guy who looked like a walking bad decision. When I went back to the gym after a month away, he remembered my name. Asked where I'd been. Smiled at me like I mattered. It felt good to be looked at like that. Marcus barely made eye contact anymore. I told myself I was just being friendly. That it didn't mean anything when Dylan offered to help me with my form, his hands on my waist, steadying me. That it was harmless when he asked for my number, case you want a custom workout plan. I gave it to him. We texted for a week. Nothing serious at first. Gym stuff, funny memes. Then one night he asked if I wanted to grab a drink. I said yes before I could think about it. I told Marcus I was meeting Jenna. The bar was loud and dark and Dylan kept leaning in close to hear me, his hand on my knee, his cologne making me dizzy. He didn't know I was married. I'd taken off my ring that morning and forgot to put it back on. Or maybe I didn't forget. When he kissed me in the parking lot, I kissed him back. I should have stopped there, driven home, confessed to Marcus. Don't literally anything else. Instead, I followed Dylan to his apartment. I told myself it was just one night, that I deserved this, that Marcus had done worse, that it would make us even somehow, and then I could confront him from a place of power instead of humiliation. I slept with him, and then I slept with Marcus 2 days later pretending everything was normal, because I couldn't let him suspect anything before I figured out what to do. I did it twice more with Dylan over the next month. It was easy to lie. Too easy. Marcus never questioned where I was. Maybe he was relieved I was out of the house. Maybe Bri had his full attention and I was just the wife-shaped obligation he came home to. I wasn't falling for Dylan. I knew that much. He was a distraction. A way to feel wanted. A weapon I was holding behind my back, waiting for the right moment to use it. But I never got that moment. 6 weeks after I found those messages, I came home early from work with the flu. Marcus was in the kitchen on the phone. I heard him say, "I love you too," before he noticed me and hung up fast. That's when I snapped. I screamed at him. Told him I knew. Told him everything. The messages. Bri, how long I'd been carrying it. I wanted him to hurt the way I hurt. And then, because I wanted to hurt him more, I told him about Dylan. I don't know what I expected. Tears maybe. Anger, a fight. Something that would make me feel less empty. Instead, Marcus just stared at me. His face went completely blank like I'd unplugged something inside him. "You're right," he said quietly. "I was texting someone. My sister." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Your sister's name isn't Bri. Brianna," he said. "We call her Bri. She's been in treatment for 3 months. I didn't tell you cause she made me promise. She didn't want anyone to know she'd relapsed." The room tilted. He pulled out his phone, showed me the messages I'd seen. In context, they weren't romantic. They were desperate. She was asking for money. He was telling her he loved her and to stay strong. I felt my knees give out. "I didn't cheat on you," Marcus said, and his voice was hollow. "But you did." He left that night, didn't yell, didn't throw anything. Just packed a bag and walked out the door while I sat on the couch, shaking, unable to breathe. Jenna stopped answering my calls after I told her the truth. Turns out her cousin's Instagram happiness was a lie too. She'd just gotten good at filters. Now it's been 3 months. Marcus won't speak to me except through his lawyer. I've been trying to process everything, trying to figure out if there's any way to fix this. And then this morning I took the test. Positive. I don't know whose baby it is. Marcus and I were still sleeping together. So was Dylan. The timeline overlaps. I tried to call Marcus. He didn't pick up. I left a voicemail. Just, "I need to talk to you. It's important." He texted back an hour later, "Have your lawyer contact mine. I'm sitting here with this test in my hand and I don't know what to do. I destroyed my marriage over a misunderstanding and my own paranoia. I let someone convince me that revenge would make me feel powerful. All I feel is sick and terrified. Because no matter whose baby this is, I'm about to bring a child into the wreckage I created. The paternity test won't be accurate until I'm further along. So I'm living in this horrible limbo where every day feels like waiting for a bomb to go off." I told Dylan 3 weeks ago. We met at a coffee shop because I couldn't handle doing it over the phone. He ordered a black coffee and kept checking his watch like I was making him late for something important. When I told him I was pregnant and that he might be the father, he just stared at me. Then he laughed, not a real laugh. One of those sharp, disbelieving sounds people make when something isn't funny at all. "You're married," he said. "Separated?" I corrected like that mattered. "Yeah, well," he stood up. "I'm not interested in being anyone's dad, or your mistake. If it's mine, I'll pay whatever the court makes me pay, but that's it. Don't contact me again." He left his coffee on the table. Full cup. He couldn't get away from me fast enough. I sat there for an hour, staring at nothing, while people around me laughed and typed on laptops and lived their normal lives. I felt invisible, erased, like I was a ghost haunting my own body. Marcus finally agreed to meet me after I sent him a letter. Not an email. An actual letter, handwritten, begging him to just hear me out. I didn't tell him about the pregnancy. I knew if I did, he'd refuse. We met at a park. Neutral ground. He looked thin or tired. There were circles under his eyes I'd never seen before. I tried to explain. Tried to tell him how scared and hurt I'd been, how Jen had gotten in my head, how I'd convinced myself he was guilty before I even asked. I apologized until my throat hurt. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he just nodded slowly. "I believe you're sorry," he said. "I believe you were hurt. But you didn't trust me. You didn't even give me a chance to explain. You just decided I was guilty and did the worst thing you could think of to hurt me back." "I know," I whispered, "and now I can't stop thinking about it." His voice cracked. "Every time I close my eyes I see you with him. I see you making that choice over and over. And I can't make it stop." That's when I told him about the baby. I watched something break in his face. He stood up, hands shaking, and I thought he was gonna yell, scream at me, tell me exactly what a horrible person I was. Instead he just said, "I can't do this," and walked away. I haven't seen him since. The divorce papers came 2 weeks later. My family knows now. I had to tell them. My mom cried. My dad hasn't spoken to me. My younger sister sent me a long text about how I'd always been selfish, how she wasn't surprised, how she felt sorry for Marcus. I wanted to argue, defend myself, but she wasn't wrong. Jenna blocked me on everything after I sent her a message telling her what her advice had cost me. I don't think she feels guilty. I think she just doesn't want the reminder that her words have consequences. I had a small circle of friends, mostly couples Marcus and I hung out with together. They chose him, all of them. I got polite excuses at first, then silence. One of them, Rachel, told me honestly, "I can't be friends with someone who'd do that." I'm sorry. I wanted to hate her for it, but I understood. Work has been a nightmare. I haven't told anyone there yet, but I'm starting to show. I've been avoiding the break room, eating lunch at my desk, leaving as soon as my shift ends. I can't handle small talk. I can't pretend I'm fine. My apartment is too quiet. I moved out of the house Marcus and I shared because I couldn't afford it alone, and being there made me want to claw my skin off. Now I live in a one-bedroom with beige walls and cheap blinds that don't block out the streetlights. I lie awake most nights, staring at the ceiling, running through every moment where I could have made a different choice. I could have confronted Marcus immediately. I could have ignored Jenna. I could have blocked Dallin's number. I could have been a different person, but I wasn't. And now I'm here, pregnant alone, waiting to find out whose child I'm carrying, knowing that either answer will hurt. If it's Marcus's, he'll have to stay connected to me forever, tied to the person who destroyed him. He'll hate me every time he looks at our child. If it's Dylan's, I'll be raising a baby whose father wanted nothing to do with either of us, a constant reminder of the worst thing I've ever done. I go to my appointments alone. I take my prenatal vitamins and listen to the heartbeat on the ultrasound and try to feel something other than dread. People keep telling me that babies are blessings, that everything will work out, that I'm stronger than I think. But they don't know what I did. They don't know how I got here. I'm not strong. I'm the woman who let someone else's bitterness poison her mind, who didn't trust the man who'd never given her a reason to doubt him, who was so focused on feeling powerful that she destroyed the only real thing she had. The paternity results come in 4 weeks. I don't know what I'm hoping for anymore. There's no good outcome. There's just damage control and consequences and learning to live with what I've done. Last week, I saw Marcus at the grocery store. He was with someone, a woman. They weren't holding hands or anything, but she made him laugh, and I hadn't seen him smile like that in so long. He didn't see me. I left my card in the aisle and walked out before he could. I'm happy for him. I mean that. He deserves to be happy. But watching him move on, knowing I'll be locked in this nightmare of my own making while he rebuilds something better, it gutted me in a way I can't explain. I thought revenge would make me feel powerful. Instead, it made me the villain in my own life. And unlike the stories people tell themselves, there's no redemption arc coming. There's just me, living with what I've done, every single day, for the rest of my life. Some mistakes don't destroy you all at once. They just hollow you out slowly, piece by piece, until you barely recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror.